All right, guys, welcome back to the pod. We got a different topic now, predictive programming. If you're familiar with what you see in conspiracy theories, you see that some prophecies have came true that you see on TV. You know, movies in particular show this a lot. And yeah, we'll be talking about that in depth in this episode. So, well, what have you got for us?
What have I got for you? I
Yes.
think it's, I think it's just a fascinating topic to talk about because a lot of people assume that naturally people put these things in film and media as a way to be like, oh, I'm going to tell you the future. This is what's going to happen in the future. Whereas I think it's more of a thing of it's a natural occurrence. I think these people are creatives and they sit down and they come up with these scripts and they write these scripts and these scripts come out a certain way.
Yeah,
And then it'll follow the script of life,
for sure.
perhaps because that's already scripted in the script, or because like you have energy exchange. So many people are going to watch this film. So say like a new film comes out and so many people go to watch it, that all this energy is given to this idea and
Mm-hmm.
it sort of manifests in people's minds, and that almost allows it to come to fruition in a
Yeah,
way.
it's the
That makes
it's,
sense.
yeah, it's how magic works, man. You
Yeah.
get people to watch this movie, give them give them all the energy to watch this movie, and introduce something that's going to happen, so it gets into people's heads that this could occur. And
Precisely.
in most cases, it seems to happen because it's just magic, and it's just how life seems to work.
Yeah.
History repeats itself, they say.
Yeah. Well, what you got to question is whether it's the script that would have played out anyway,
Yeah,
or if it is magic in the sense that it's an idea that's been put into the subconscious of people, so many people, that it almost becomes a reality.
yeah, for sure.
Um, it's one of those two things. Whether those things are actually the same thing or completely different is the real question that I think
Yeah,
really needs to be asked and to be answered.
yeah, for sure. Like,
Yeah.
there's many examples. I think the big one we can talk about is the 9/11. You've seen many predictive programming for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I saw in one video there was a magazine by Sesame Street, the kids magazine in
Yeah.
1976, showing, I think it was the Cookie Monster eating the Twin Towers. So
Yeah.
did they know that 9/11 was going to happen 35 years later?
Yeah. You don't think so? You don't think so? It seems very unbelievable.
Yeah,
I really do think a lot of things are planned, but at the same time, I think to assume that every single person in the creative team working on that project was like, oh yeah, we need to put in a Easter egg about 9/11 happening. That's something that's going to happen in 30 years. A lot of people are going to look at them like, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah,
there's tons of examples when it comes to 9/11. There's like I don't know if you've seen it, The Simpsons. There's a magazine in one of the shots where Bart holds up a magazine. It's a really old one,
yeah,
and there's the it's like a magazine of New York, and the towers are there in the picture,
yeah.
and then it's $9. The magazine's $9, which to
Oh,
be
is
fair
it?
is a bit suspicious. I don't know why a magazine would be $9. That seems like rather steep for a magazine. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like obviously I'm not from America, but I really don't think people charge like $9 for a magazine. That seems quite
yeah.
steep.
Yeah,
Uh,
in this country, a magazine, how much would it be? Like £1 or £2?
yeah, like that. Yeah, definitely not that much. Like $9 is very excessive. So
Yeah,
it's like there's always the theory that Matt Groening is a time traveler because that is one TV show where there's always going to be things in it that are like, oh, well, that came to fruition
yeah,
in some form or another. Like with the Donald Trump being president, that came true.
yeah,
9/11, obviously, there was hints at 9/11. There was the election fraud. Yeah, there's tons of examples when it comes to Simpsons.
yeah, for sure with The Simpsons. I think
Yeah,
this may be going off topic with predictive programming, but it kind of relates with time travel. Do you believe in time travel?
No,
No,
no. I really find it hard to believe in that concept because I think if it was done by now, we'd definitely know about it.
for sure.
I feel like the people who have traveled back in time would have done something. I really think it'd mess with the fabric of reality to the point where it'd just cause complete destruction.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree. There's like what you see in the cartoons is, in my mind, what I see to be time travel, but it's not
yeah,
possible in real life. Like I've
no,
seen like YouTube videos saying, "Oh, this time traveler came from the year 2075 and saw that the future was terrible." Those
yeah,
videos, they're not believable if you
yeah.
ask me.
Well, that's the thing. Like anyone could literally just say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a time travel from the year 20." Obviously, there's like suspicious circumstances where people have popped up randomly and have been like, "Yeah, I'm a time traveler." Maybe it is possible to some degree, but there might be limitations or constructs in this reality that prevent anything from them actually impacting the world, if you
Yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah. Like before, I watched a
Oh,
video saying that Donald Trump was a time traveler.
yeah, yeah. Or Baron, it was Baron Trump on it, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, his son.
Uh, his grandson, yeah, or son or grandson,
Yeah,
yeah,
his
that
son.
he's a time traveler. Because yeah, there's a book in there called
Yeah,
something about Baron Trump, and it's a story about like a leader's son who goes back in time, something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I read that a long time ago. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a long time. I think, he was connected with Back to the Future. What a
yeah,
movie, the more movie that is.
yeah. That is a great movie. But I mean, it's possible. It's possible that we live in a reality where things happen. You know, like Men in Black,
Yes.
where things occur and we are sort of neutralized and we do forget. But then, if everything's possible, then nothing really has meaning. So I find it hard to believe that that is actually the truth. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I think time travel, maybe it's possible, but if you are a time traveler, you can't do things that would affect the script, so
Yeah,
called. Like, the script has to play out how it will
exactly.
play out.
Yeah,
That's possibly why, say, Matt Groening he is a time traveler. He's chosen to create a TV show, which it doesn't really directly impact reality, but at the
yeah,
same time, it tells a possible chronological story of what is happening in this reality, if that makes sense.
yeah. It's just all the Simpsons is just a script to see what
Yeah,
happens in this reality.
yeah, very possible.
Yeah,
Simpsons equals 33, I think, in Chaldean.
yeah. And I think there's 33 seasons of The Simpsons.
Yeah, there is. There is.
Yeah,
And I think they're planning on ending it this season, aren't they? If
yeah.
I'm not
Are they?
mistaken.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard about that.
Mm.
Obviously,
Maybe
the
they might
33.
Um, yeah. Yeah, Simpsons is a great TV show. But yeah, there's tons of examples of predictive programming in The Simpsons. But like even more shows when it comes to like 9/11. Like there was a video game, I don't know if you've heard of it, called Deuce Machina, I think it is. I think it's
No,
in that one.
I've never heard of it, but
Deuce
if you,
Machina.
if you can explain it, then yeah, I'll be able
So
to listen.
basically, it's a video game about like international terrorists and stuff like that. But in the original copy, if I'm not mistaken, the original copy of the game, um, they did the New York skyline.
Yeah.
The Twin Towers were missing from the skyline, and then they came out and said, "Oh, that was a glitch. Sorry, we didn't mean to do that."
Yeah,
It was not long before 9/11 happened. So
fair enough.
yeah,
Yeah, it's possible, really, mate. Maybe they sat down and knew that 9/11 was going to happen, so they done it
yeah.
intentionally. But
I really don't think that's the case. I really
I
don't think
don't
that's
think
the
so.
case. I just think it's the script. Like it gives you hints at what's going to happen, but it's
Yeah.
not going to tell you fully. It's almost like a dream in a sense.
Yes,
So
daydreaming.
yeah. There's projections of things occurring in real life, as well as when you go to sleep, that will almost give you hints as to what's going to happen in the future or the near future.
Hmm. Which is why they always, which is why they always have the time travel talk. I think
Yeah,
it's more far fetched than it is reality.
Well, time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree. I do think on some level there are probably evil forces working in the world to try and create this magic in which they put things out in popular culture to
Yeah,
get people to invest into it and then hopefully bring it to life.
I think predictive programming is definitely one of the tools that is used to keep mankind under mind control.
Yeah, definitely. Because the basis of it is you see it, and then you see it in like a film or something. So say like an evil cabal working in the background. That typically is the story. I mean, like if you look at say even the MCU, I think that's been a massive proponent of predictive programming over the past few years.
Yes.
For example, with say like I don't know if you've seen Winter Soldier, the Captain America film.
I think I've seen it.
Where it turns out that Shield, which is like the big government agency, has been taken by an evil organization, which was originated during the era of the Nazis, called Hydra. And that is almost it is true to life, because there was a operation after the collapse of the Third Reich called Operation Paperclip, which meant that the German scientists that were involved in doing human experiments and stuff like that were transferred from their German bases to the American side to work for them at the sparing of their life. So they were spared an agreement for them to come work for the US. So the narrative of that in Captain America is actually true to life. Like that's actually what happened. But you see it in a film and you think, oh no, that's what happened in that movie that time. It's not actually what's really happened.
Yeah.
It's just like truth in your face, and you just completely ignore it because you've seen it in a film. You think, oh no, that's just a film, that's fantasy, it's science fiction. Because it's labeled as a certain thing. It's labeled as fantasy or science fiction. It's not labeled as a drama. You just assume, oh yeah, it's not real life, is it? So
doesn't affect you, but correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Operation Paperclip, didn't that link to NASA being founded? Or am I wrong?
It did, yeah. I believe it
because I'll touch on this individual, Werner von Braun, if I say his name right. He was one of the people that was responsible for the creation of NASA, and he actually wrote a book. This is some predictive programming called, it was about a book on a boy named Elon looking to go to Mars, and we currently have Elon Musk who's looking to travel to Mars.
That's crazy. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I believe he wrote the book the day NASA came out in 1959, and Elon Musk being born 12 years later.
That's insane. Though.
Yeah, I think it's
know about that.
I think it's called Project Elon. Well, yeah.
But then do you question, is it because they have access to the knowledge that this life is a script and they're just tracking the script, or is it because this guy Werner von Braun wanted to get a kid called Elon to travel to the moon, travel to Mars? Sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, it's up
like
to you to answer that question. It's like you can't really explain it. You know, you got use a bit of common sense and say that he wasn't aware that Elon Musk was going to be born 12 years later. I mean, if he did, then again, like he's got to be some sort of time traveler, but it's not possible.
No. It'd be boring as well if you're a time traveler. Like, why would you do that?
Exactly. Like it's almost as if you're God, really. You're the creator. You just travel through times, looking and seeing where this reality is. Like, that's why they always say, you should stay in the present moment. Because if you go too far in the future, there could be some bad things.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to be grateful for this moment and stay as present as possible. I think the biggest explainer of the idea of time travel being quite farcical, not farcical necessarily, but almost pointless and redundant, is say Rick and Morty, where it's basically about this grandpa traveler who has all this technology, access to every single piece of kit and technology you could wish for, which is probably what would you have if you were a time traveler, say.
Yeah.
It just becomes farcical and kind of pointless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the more you use these technologies and things that just make it easier for everything to jump from place to place, to travel in time and create alternate versions of yourself, it just becomes completely redundant and pointless. So I don't, unless they were just like, they did actually time travel and they were just like, oh, you know what would be funny if I wrote a book 50 years in advance of when this kid Elon's going to be trying to go to Mars. It like, maybe that's what they're doing, but it just seems a bit too far-fetched, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like with Elon,
Sorry, go on.
Elon Musk himself, he's a very interesting character if you know about him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he has some similar ideas on what he thinks about this reality.
Yeah. What, like simulation?
Yeah, simulation.
Yeah. Exactly. Smart man as well. Very smart man.
He's intelligent.
Yeah. At the same time, not 100% convinced of him though, I don't think.
Yeah. With the way he speaks, it's almost as like his voice is not the same as it was before. I don't know. It's like,
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird one. It is a weird one. Can never put my finger on. Like, I do like Elon. I like him but I think he's more of a character than an actual person.
yeah, I agree. He's just playing a role. Like, he knows what's happening. Like, he knows what's happening with the crypto market. Like, this is another example of predictive programming. So, you put a post on Twitter. Is like the petrol station, and he put like 7-Eleven, and that seems to be an important number in the esoteric and the Tesla stocks that day, because obviously he's owner of Tesla. The Tesla stocks that day, I think it was on the 21st of June, was $711.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
This guy knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just playing with the numbers.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that a lot of them have the knowledge, esoteric knowledge, but at the same time, I think it's like, I don't know. I think you find this information out and it sort of just becomes a game. You realize it's a game.
Yes.
Like, well, you probably just don't take it too seriously. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you just have to level up in this game of life and not be caught under the predictive programming and they show you in the mainstream.
Exactly. I think you have to like almost separate yourself from it. That doesn't mean you can't go out and watch a film and enjoy it for what it is. Try and respect it for the piece of art that it brings, but don't become so consumed in it that it becomes like almost a reality for you.
Yeah, because most people, they don't know, they can't separate what's real and what's not real. That's why, they always get emotional about what happens in the mainstream, with movies in particular. Like if they see, for example, with the predictive programming, like there's been like 25 movies about the Golden Gate being destroyed. Does that mean that the Golden Gate Bridge is going to be destroyed? I don't know, but it could be, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. I think usually when something happens in terms of predictive programming, it's usually quite subtle. Yeah. So it's not necessarily this is what's going to happen. And it's like an active portrayal or vision of what's going to happen. It's more in symbology and it's cut into the subconscious rather than the conscious mind. So say with 9/11, you've just got things that are quite subtle, but your subconscious will probably pick up on, like the thing with the 9 and the 11 with Bart's magazine and the Deus Ex Machina thing with the Twin Towers missing from the skyline and things like on that level where it's like you'll be doing something, you're not actively thinking, oh, does this mean this is going to happen? I think it cuts beyond the conscious and it has to go to the subconscious for it to be predictive programming somewhat.
Yeah.
I think if I could give an example of that, it'd be, say with the MCU, Avengers Endgame came out in 2019.
Yeah, I watched that.
More or less the same year, obviously in that film there's the blip, isn't there? There's a blip where there's like 5 years of nothing,
Yeah,
and like half of planet Earth gets wiped out. It's not directly the same as coronavirus, but at the same time, it kind of is. It was a period that came right after that, where it was
yeah,
like everything was shut down. The world basically stopped for 2 years. So
yeah,
it's not directly the same thing, but it's almost a metaphorical version of it, if that makes sense.
yeah. I get that. I agree with that for sure. And you also have like what do you call it? The simulation exercises for the C-19.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. With the like World Economic Forum and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Plan
yeah, that
great
occurred
before.
like 60 something days before. I can't remember how many days it was before COVID-19 or the first case of COVID-19.
Yeah, so whoever or whatever's doing it, whether it's in or outside this reality, they know what's going on.
Yeah. I just think some people are aware of it and they do know what's going on, but at the same time, I don't think it's in their control necessarily. They're just playing their parts.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're just playing their parts because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, then no one escapes the reality that we live in once you understand that it's not what you think it is. And I'll show that in my videos that I have. Yeah.
Well, what videos you got coming out?
Just
You
some
putting them on your main channel?
decode, yeah, decoding videos.
No, that's fucking. What on your actual channel that you're
Yeah,
uploading on now?
on my actual channel.
Nice. Look out for them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will.
we're gonna try and get Logan on the podcast.
Yeah, we
So,
need to, man.
yeah,
I just message him I just message him saying, come on, man.
yeah. I think it'd be a good guest, and I think he'd probably do it. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, seems to apply to you a lot on YouTube, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, just ask him to come on, have a chat with us. It don't have to be long, does it? Half an hour. Try can spare half an hour of his day.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah. Your channel's going to be popping off then if you're doing all the decoding. I've seen a lot of your stuff on Twitter, like all the, and we're reading the threads and stuff, and I was like, that's fascinating. Like, that is actually, you've done some serious work into that.
thanks.
So,
Yeah, because like, the self-improvement stuff, that's all well and good, but I realized when I was going in, I was like, I have to do something different because you gotta make it unique. I
yeah,
know we're going off topic, but you don't want to just sit down asking, telling people advice when you yourself have not built up to a standard where you can tell people advice on how to do this and how to do that. It's already been covered, so you gotta have some uniqueness about you and make sure change the genre.
yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, you've got to be a pioneer, and you've got to bring something new to the table. Or people will be like, "Whoa, I should watch this guy."
Yeah.
Or you have
Otherwise,
been through it.
otherwise you're just another, what do you call it? Just another statistic on the YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But that's why I tried the impressions thing, because the impressions did actually. People were like, "Oh yeah," people enjoyed that, and it was sort of something new. I don't think I'd seen anyone else doing it, so it was a niche in that way.
Yeah.
And it draws people to your channel. It's like, oh, this guy. Well, I think Captain Sinbad did it as well. We're off topic here. Way off
Yeah, I know
topic.
we're going way off topic, but
Sorry, guys.
yeah. Back to the
Yeah.
predictive programming. Have you got any other examples? Or
Let me think off the top of my head. There was the show, was it Utopia? I think it was called, that Amazon released.
yes.
And it came out along the same time or just before the COVID breakout.
What's it about? I mean, I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
Are we allowed to say COVID on stream? I don't know. I don't know if people take it down. I've got a funny story where I was sorry, this is completely off topic, but I was recording a video when I first started my channel, and in the video I really quickly mentioned about the sea being like a lot of tosh,
Yes.
and about 5 minutes after I uploaded it, it got taken down, and my channel got a strike. So
We'll see, but
I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. But yeah, back to the topic. When the thing was happening all over the world, there was a show out called Utopia, which basically depicted a pharmaceutical company
Oh, okay, yeah, I know that.
to combat a virus.
Yeah.
But it made everyone infertile, and they were profiting off it. And it turned out that they were just trying to make money, and they created the virus.
Yeah, I saw a video about that, and just to say, there was, the TV show The Office, the American one.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a video about that, and he was all about Biden getting into power as president of the US.
Yeah, because it takes place in Pennsylvania, which is where Biden.
Yes.
And it's 201 episodes.
Yeah, and it lasted for 6 years, 2013 to 2019, and then a year later, they had the president elections in US, and coincidentally, Biden becomes president.
Yeah. Well, no, it ended in 2013, actually, that show, I think.
No, I think it was 2013 to 19, I think.
No, it was 2005 to 2013.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not trying to like be a knobber. I'm just a big fan of The Office. So.
Yeah, I've never watched it. You see, I just what I'm saying is just what I saw from a YouTube video. So
yeah, I know what you're saying. So yeah, because it took place in Scranton, which is Biden's hometown, and it's called The Office, the presidential office.
I mean, did they know that Biden was going to be in office?
I don't know. Now you think about it as well, like Michael Scott was a controversial character, and at the end he gets sent off. So is it like the controversial character Trump gets sent off and replaced with someone more applicable?
Maybe.
But yeah. But then is it like, did the writers of The Office come together and were like, look, Joe Biden's going to be in power in 10 years. Let's make a TV show that's going to show that. What? They wouldn't. So they're going to waste millions of pounds making a comedy show that they've got to sit down and write comedy every single day and get all these actors involved just to be like, oh yeah, Joe Biden's going to be in power.
I mean, what you just said, it just sounds really stupid.
Yeah.
It sounds really silly, man, to think that the producers of The Office are sitting there hoping that Biden becomes president. I mean,
yeah,
it's just natural. It's just the script playing along. This is supposed to happen so that this event can happen.
Exactly, yeah. It's like everything's connected. So it's almost synchronicity. It's synchronicities where things that are seemingly unlinked seemingly link in some form.
Mm-hmm.
So like by name or by place, it's like there's a connection to everything. You just have to look deep enough and be like, oh yeah, made that connection.
Yeah, very true. A lot of synchronicities within everybody's lives. If you look and see that, then life would be so much better.
Exactly, yeah. If you just like embrace the script almost and just allow it to take you, I think you'd have a lot more of a joyous time on this ride.
Yeah, on this unbelievable loony bin, as the great Decode Reality calls it.
Yeah. Is it a loony bin? I don't know. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
For the most part.
Yeah.
My cat died last week though, which is sad. But
rest in peace.
Yeah. But yeah, life goes on, and I think you've just got to make the most of it and just realize that everything isn't as serious as you think it is.
Yeah.
And people aren't plotting on your demise. That's one big constraint that you can put on yourself, is thinking that, oh, everyone's out to get you. The elite are out to get you. They're gonna come for your money and take your land and stuff. No, you can do whatever you want. Like, exactly. Just realize that you've got the power to do that. That's something. I don't doubt that all these conspiracy theories are purported and somewhat peddled by the elites in order to make people feel powerless and think that they can do nothing. So
yeah, people blame the elites for why their life's a mess, but you have to look at yourself. does a fish pay attention to what a shark is doing? No, so why should people pay attention to the elite? So if if you don't like something, just ignore it. But
Yeah.
people get stuck under the matrix and give their energy to a lot of things with the predictive programming, with anything in life in general, in this reality,
Yeah.
which is, I would say, is not really it's not really, well, I wouldn't really call this reality a reality because I don't think it's real.
No, I think it is real. I think it is as real as you make it. But then, what is real if it's not real? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Hard to say.
Yeah, it is hard to say, but like when you see when if you notice the predictive programming more and you see prophecies happening, you do kind of realize, hang on, what kind of reality am I living in?
Yeah.
And when you start questioning your reality and you see natural synchronicities, you then come to the logical conclusion that, look, this might be scripted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. When you get too deep into the rabbit hole, you're like, where do I go now? It's like it's just endless. You keep going forever. So then you have to make a logical assumption that will tie in the new worldview. So yeah, I can understand that. I can understand that. But yeah, is there anything else on predictive programming? There's probably
There's one, I think, Cyber Polygon, when they were simulating cyber attacks just right after the pandemic.
yeah,
Have you heard of that?
yeah.
Yeah, so does that mean that cyber attacks are going to happen? I mean, look, I don't know, but it's not good to live in fear just because you see that the elite are simulating cyber attacks now, thinking that you're going to get a cyber attack.
Yeah.
And look, if it happens, it happens. Like, you can't control it. You can't do anything about it. But look, you just have to stay calm, be prepared, and know that life's a game. Games,
Yeah,
nobody's
exactly.
betting.
And you can when you don't have to live in fear. You can think, oh, what is the best logical solution to deal with this problem if it does happen?
Yeah.
And if it does, then deal with it when it comes to it. Don't just stand there paralyzed because you're so in fear that something's going to happen from the elite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the fear-based mentality is just how the masses view life. Like when something bad happens, like you see with the toilet paper, with the C-19, everyone just rushed to buy toilet paper. That's just the fear-based way that these people live, and
Yeah, I
unfortunately
feel
for
like
them.
that was probably almost a power move from the elites to be like, because they almost tried it out where they were like, oh, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can make them buy as like a fear buy. And they were like, oh yeah, toilet paper is running out. Let's push that idea and see how many people go and buy toilet paper.
Some some
It's
some must have,
hilarious.
yeah. It is hilarious as a viewer to watch. I can't lie, it's kind of funny, but it's almost as if the elites are like, masters putting their puppets, which would be mankind, into place.
Yeah.
Like, I think they probably view us as puppets, the world elite, but hey.
But everyone's puppets. That's the thing. I think that's the thing you have to focus on. Every single person's a puppet.
Yeah, like, for example, having a dog on lead, an owner having a dog on its lead, is that
Yeah.
no, that is very similar to mankind being in a script.
And being led.
Yeah. To
Led.
where? To where exactly?
That's the question. That is the question. Yeah. You sort of unaware. You wouldn't be aware. And what you're saying about the higher self as well. So the dog on the lead, you are sort of the meat puppet is the dog,
Yeah.
and then the person leading is probably either your higher self.
Yeah, because like you get ideas in your head, but your ideas don't come from you.
No, it's like a download, isn't it?
Yeah, downloads.
Yeah, it's typically the best ideas as well. When you can
Yeah.
shut your conscious mind down and just listen, you often hear yeah, there's so much information about stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you got any more topics on predictive programming, or is that it?
No, not necessarily. No, I think there's just countless examples. I think you could go on forever.
Yeah, there is a lot, to be fair. So yeah,
But it is a tool, and it is a reality. The main question is it man that's doing it, or is it scripted?
I think the latter, but
Yeah,
that's up to the people to decide.
I agree.
Anyway, so guys, this is the end of the episode. It's been a really good one, I feel.
Yeah, I've
So yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah, I've enjoyed this as well. So we'll see you guys next week. Yeah,
Peace out.
we'll find a topic to talk about.